What's going on, everybody? We're going to continue working on our water cooling loop for the Slim. I think I have kind of figured out what I want to do in terms of the loop, but it is a little contingent on winning an eBay listing. So I'm using this as a reference. This is the XSPC Ion Reservoir, and it came like this in different colors, and then they had the pump version, so where the window is about half the size and the pump takes up kind of the bottom half. And I think there's just one less port on the one with the pump. But someone has one of these in white with the pump on eBay, open box. If I can win that, I think this would be a great solution on the top here. One, it will obviously match. I want to try to stick with mostly white components. We may, I guess, paint some of the inner stuff that's black, maybe even the pump white, or we'll just leave things on the inside black, and that will help because there is no white version of this flow meter, and I'd really like to use one of these. Although, if it's too big and I don't win this listing, we'll most likely use a tube reservoir that's clear with either clear end caps or white end caps. The Bits Power tank, like the red one we used on the bloody Xbox that eventually went on the PS3, the Chrome PS3. So if we don't get that to work, like I said, tube reservoir, and then the pump will be on the inside. We'll use the Phobia pump here that we use on most of our 360 water cooling builds. And with that pump here, we'll have a fan here. We will have this 120 fan here. I might actually just use this one since it's white. It has great airflow. It is also UV blue. So we'll obviously have a little bit of UV lights going on in here. And like I said, I want to do mostly white. We'll have some clear tubing, and we'll probably use some UV blue fluid to kind of go along with the blue accents on this build. Now, for our radiator over here, the problem with it being facing this way, which is obviously the way it would have to go, once you put these 90s on here, you just have this, if I put a fan here that kind of matches up, but I don't want to have a fan on the outside. I want to try to keep this slim, and this just really ruins that. So, and I know this is going to irk some people, but this case is already got some holes drilled in it, and like I said, I'm most likely going to be cutting out this grill here just to maximize the airflow with this fan. It's going to be attached to flush mount on the bottom side with the radiator on the top. But I am going to probably end up drilling 2 more holes so that I can turn this around and just have the ports go directly into the inside. And that wasn't possible before with the DVD drive, but now that we have all this extra space, I want to utilize that, and this will just make this way more slim. And we'll see if we can get another cool fan grill, kind of like the Death Star one on the Vader build, either the Rebellion logo, or I don't know, we'll see what we can find, something related to Jedi or R2-D2 or something. But with these ports going down through the inside, one, I can still utilize the hole we have here in the back, which we do have something that goes around there to clean that up. But basically, I don't know the exact loop yet, but let's just assume we're going to have this one with the pump. So this will go here. It'll pump, through this inside by the Wi-Fi router where we already have this hole cut out. And we can have it go straight in. Either, who knows where the flow meter will come into play, but somewhere in here. And it's going to go probably directly into the block or directly into a 90 into our radiator, and then into the block, or vice versa. And then once it comes out of one of those two, it's going to come back here, come right out this hole, do a 90, go across right here above all the ports so it won't be in the way, and then just go right back into the top of the reservoir. Now, if we have the tube reservoir, it'll be the same thing. This will just take up more space right here, and we'll have a 90 going in, and we'll have another one coming out here, looping around the back into here to go through all the inside stuff. Now, like I said, there's a few days left on this, at least as of the time I'm filming this clip. So hopefully if we do win that, that'll, like I said, no pump on the inside. Plenty of room. We could put the bigger flow meter. This one has a pink propeller in there, but we've got a white one and a UV blue we can throw in. So when we go, come on, man. Finally, I'm done with these. Okay, so it's a day or 3 later. Couple things pertaining to the reservoir I mentioned earlier, although I probably will still go for that listing because I always wanted another one of these, and it's definitely be useful in other builds, especially with the built-in pump. But especially the one with the pump, it doesn't have this lower port. It would have to be mounted like way back here. We'd have to figure out some weird routing of the tubing or something. It just wouldn't work out. So I went ahead and ordered a tube reservoir, a couple ones actually. We'll see what those look like when they show up. But yeah, we're going to go with the tube reservoir up here, which means we will have a pump on the inside. Now speaking of the pump, I've always used the DDC or the DC-12 pumps. This is the DC-12 from Phobia. We also will not be using this pump. There's another style pump that's smaller that I've never actually used before. I've always been curious though. The DC-LT pump, which is really just basically the internal part. Like it's just the little tiny pump piece, and you have to get some sort of reservoir or pump top to go with it. But I think even the acrylic top that goes with that pump would still be even slimmer than this pump. So it would take up a little less space. It would be easier to mount in that situation because the acrylic top piece has like M3 or M4 screw holes in it, so you can just mount it to the top of this, and it'll be acrylic, of course. So we also ordered the acrylic top. We'll see when all that stuff shows up. So we won't be using this pump. Now the block. Got several packages today, one of them being the block. We've used this before in the Slim, in the Xbox One, in the budget Xbox One S build that we did. And there's one of these on the GPU of Vader. And the CPU has basically a similar style one, but it has the ports on the top. Now we have an XS PC Xbox 360 Slim specific water block that would go right here. However, I still would want to use this one anyway because the ports are on the side, and the whole point is to see if we can fit our fan, wherever I put it, between the block and the shell without having to get a slimmer fan, which if we do, that's no big deal. You're not really going to be able to see it that much anyway underneath the radiator. I also have a friend with a 3D printer. Sent him this file I bought for like $2 of a little R2-D2 grill that's going to go here. We also have a filter we're going to be putting there that's ordered with the reservoir that filter is. But anyway, we can at least put this in here, kind of test fit that stuff. Now, since we aren't using either of these things, this is actually the exact setup I used in the original water-cooled 1S and probably some of the other ones. Basically had it set like this, with this facing the other way, and then all 90s, and it all kind of went this way and looped around to itself and whatnot. So as a little warm-up loop, I'm going to be re-water cooling the 1S again with all the blue stuff. I have a shell made. I need to finish kind of trimming it. But yeah, we're going to kind of use all this stuff. I have pretty much everything I need right here. So the next video of Xbox stuff will be hopefully just one quick video of taking this apart, putting the loop together, putting it back together. And yeah, that's just my personal system. And then once that's good to go, hopefully we got at least most of the parts back for this one, so we can set up the loop and have it ready to go when we get our motherboard back. Also have to figure out if it's going to be this way, and if we want this to kind of loop around and this to go this way, which was my original setup. I had to heavily modify the hard drive kind of casing so I could fit that tubing through here. But one, we're going to be using smaller tubing, and two, we won't have the DVD drive in the way, so it won't have to go between the DVD drive and the little mounting point on the hard drive shell. But yeah, anyway, let's set the fan in there. And actually, speaking of the tubing, This stuff when I was building Vader, because I didn't know if I wanted to use this or the red tubing. This is just black, but it's UV black. Boom, look at that. So we're definitely using this on R2-D2. And yeah, it's just going to be, hopefully when it's off, all the inside stuff that's not lit up is just, going to look black. And then we'll have some UV lighting. Turn it on. This turns blue. We'll have the blue fluid. You can see through all the acrylic stuff. And I think that's going to be super cool. But this is also the slightly smaller. It's not the 3/8. This is 5/16, I think. So we've got plenty of fittings. And once we get the reservoir, like I said, we should have everything we need to finish up this loop. But let's throw this fan in here and see if it fits. Alright. That right here. And I don't think it's gonna work out. Yeah. So that basically just rests on there. Now part of it, I guess, is it's just sitting on that peg right there, which I'm not going to cut off. That's going to hold our shell in place. But we can definitely trim that little piece on the corner of the fan. That's no big deal. That's not going to affect where the blades are. So I think if that is out of the way, it might fit, given that we shave a little bit of some of these kind of bracings here. So however, it's going to be kind of resting right on there, so I don't know. We'll probably have to order a slimmer fan just to have it anyway, in case it doesn't fit. But as of now, pretty close fit. May or may not be able to get that to work. Split it back a little bit just to see, and it's still kind of teetering on top of that. So I think I want to go with the slimmer fan. That way I also got room, so it's not just making contact with the block and causing any vibrations in there. Now we also got another 360. Got a crazy good deal on this on Etsy. I was kind of looking for other stuff, but found this one, and it's just a 360 Slim, 250 gigabyte hard drive with the RGH3 mod, Aurora already on there, and Dash Launch, just the basic already set up stuff. And like I said, it was just a super good deal, so we're picking that up. Now this is what we're using for the counterpart to R2-D2. This will be, haven't figured out the exact theme yet, whether Kylo Ren or Darth Maul or something like that. But I have not gotten the shipping confirmation yet from Phenom Mod for the clear pink red shell. That's what this one's for, as well as you saw the short of the controller put together. So for now, this will be set aside. We can, I guess, start to take it apart and, figure out some LEDs and possibly a fan mod. Figure out what else we're going to do on the inside there. It's not going to be too much, but we will, I am going to upgrade the hard drive in this one. It will just kind of be a fully loaded thing in a ghost shell with some cool details. So for now, I'm not going to worry about that immediately. Alright, so that's pretty much it for today. We wanted to kind of map out our loop. I got to wait till I get that pump to kind of explain. I mean, it's going to be set up the same as that other pump. We're going to have a reservoir up here going in to the pump, and then we want to use a flow meter here, which I think it had the pink propeller in there. I went ahead and put the white one in. So, like I was saying earlier, with black components with the black tubing, the underside of the pump will be black, and then when it's turned on, we'll obviously have UV lights with the blue fluid and tubing and all that stuff. So that's how that's set up. But yeah, I got a pretty good idea. I'm going to have the radiator like this going under. That's going to be the trickiest part of this, is being able to set this on while connecting the radiator. But we're not going to have anything here, so I'll be able to kind of reach in here and put that stuff on, and then I think I want to attach the bezel to the faceplate itself so I can put that on later instead of getting one of those block-off plates. But yeah, we got everything kind of planned out. Just got to wait on a few more parts. So in the meantime, we'll set it aside, and then we'll start working on this quick little loop. Once this is done, hopefully we got everything else we need to continue working on our slim builds, as well as still waiting on Hawk and Prime, but they should be just about done and getting sent back pretty soon. Those will be priority. As soon as we get those back, we're going to make sure those are good to go and sent out for review and get them listed. Other than that, also waiting on a couple things for controllers to finish up our controller series we were kind of doing there, to get all the controllers ready for all these builds. I also need to do inventory of all my cables, make sure all that stuff's ready so that when our builds are done, we can get these listed right away. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.